What is going on? We are doing a way too early mock draft of the Baltimore Ravens entire draft. So we're just gonna kind of go through. We're using Pro Focus, so I don't know, or Pro Football. So hopefully this is pretty accurate. Obviously things are gonna change as we get closer to the draft, and it's definitely not the craziest start, but CJ Stroud's still available. I'm not doing any trades. I don't want to do that. CJ? Okay, he did. I was about to say. He's not following the six to begin with. But all right, so the Ravens, their biggest need is they don't really need linebacker. I don't know why it's on there. But the other ones all do make sense. Now, I'm not going to draft a receiver right away. So right now, I'm thinking either Brian Branch or Clark Phillips here. But I think our offensive line is in some of the biggest need, which there just really isn't. I mean, this guy, I can't even pronounce that name, Cypress, is probably our best bet if we were going to draft a lineman here. But I think the best option overall would be draft Brian Branch. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. I do like how fast it goes. It was so slow. So the Ravens don't have a second round draft pick, so their next pick is going to be in the third. So here, let's see what the linemen look like. Warner here. Possible. I mean, let me see what is. Quick off the snap. Yeah, I mean, he looks like a solid offensive lineman out of Georgia. Obviously, I don't know a ton about offensive linemen. And, let's see. There's no like top tier wide receivers. They're not really. Durook. So I wasn't that impressed looking at this guy's stats. I would honestly take Byron Young over him, but I think the lineman is the bigger need here. So we're gonna draft him. He can play right tackle. Left tackle. What's his? Ronnie Stanley's never healthy, so I think. What do I want to go with here? This could be useful. He's not gonna have anything on here, is he? Nope. Okay. I've never really heard of him. Let's look up his stats and see if he's been playing well or not. Okay, why did it? What? His stats. So, I mean, 25 tackles, half a sack, a forced fumble. That's not really bad stats. I honestly could very well see that being a solid pick. Let's look at what's other here. Yeah, I think that's who I'm going with. I'm going to bring in Roy here to join the Ravens. They need some defensive line help. Their defensive line's getting a little out of shape. I do believe here I do want to try to bring in a receiver. So Trey Palmer is a solid pick unless I see somebody who shouldn't be this low and probably won't be when the actual draft happens because I'm going to draft somebody later. It's going to drive people crazy, I think, personally. Yeah, that's who I'm going with. Come on the team, Trey. So I don't know these prospects a ton. Obviously, we're still really early on. And is this our last pick? It is. All right, so I'm going to do the thing. So I think the Ravens are going to want to possibly draft a quarterback. And I was debating on Spencer Rattler. He's shown some flashes, but he's been super inconsistent. And I scrolled through and I found the guy who I actually wanted to take. Now there's two his brother, which would have been tempting. Let's see, where's he? I don't think he's this low. Did he actually get drafted? Here he is. I don't know why. Max Duggan or Dugga or whatever, however you pronounce his last name. is this low in the draft. He's a Heisman finalist. I mean, I know he hasn't had the greatest stats leading into this season, but I mean, if he falls to the 6 rounds, the Ravens better pick him up. Like, he has had one heck of a career. It's just this season. Well, let's bring up his stats here and I mean, he's got, I think it's like 30 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Yeah, or 4 interceptions with 3,300 yards. And his stats the rest of his career, I get kind of why he's so lowly ranked. But sometimes guys just get better over time. And this is where I think he's at. You know, I mean, let's see what's Bryce Hall's stats? Or Bryce Young. Let's see what he's got going on here. I mean, he had an amazing season last year, but his stats are pretty much the same. I don't think he's played the whole season. I think he missed a game or two, but I mean, I don't know if you can make that argument that he's that that much worse than these guys here. I mean, I'm assuming these guys have a ton more upside. Who was the other one? He's not gonna show up here. So, like, I'd imagine. Oops, that's not who I wanted. I would imagine that Max is gonna slide up that draft prospect. But I was honestly about to draft Spencer Rattler, and then I scrolled down and found him. I mean, solid season's definitely better. Obviously, I'm not looking at their like rushing stats either. But I don't know how you could say that would be a bad pick. But yeah, this is what I mean. If the Ravens can manage his draft class, this would be nice. You know, I don't know, like Trey Palmer is gonna perform. Let's see what he looks like. I had somebody else, but they weren't there this time around, which happens. I did a pre-mock draft, so I can kind of learn generally the players who I think would fall. But I mean, he's got over 1,000 yards receiving this year, 9 touchdowns. I mean, this is a pretty solid season on a not great Nebraska team. So I would take him. I mean, yeah, I like this. You know, Brian Branch, I don't know a ton about him. Apparently, he doesn't have anything in here. You would have, I mean, it's still kind of early, but you would imagine they would have more about these players, especially somebody who is this highly rated as Brian Branch is, number 19. His stats aren't crazy, but, you know, I mean, this doesn't show me, like, how much people are receiving against him. I don't know. I don't think the Ravens can play him at safety. We got too many safeties. But if he could play slot corner or something like that, that would be huge. So, thanks for watching.